Tell us about Scality's unified storage strategy. What does it mean for Ring?
It essentially means being closer to our customers. Our unified scale-out storage strategy is really a response to market demand. We met many times again customers that came to us and said, well, I want all the advantages of the cloud. I want the high availability, the lower cost of ownership, the better data protection, and I don't want to change my application. And we would ask them, okay, so how's your application? How does it work? And very quickly they would tell us, well, we have a file system. We'd say, okay, so you need a file system with all the cloud properties. At the beginning, we would answer, well, I'm sorry, cloud doesn't come with a file system. If you go to Amazon S3, you don't get a file system. You get a flat space, which is great in terms of scalability, but force everyone to redesign the application. And really in the Amazon concept, the application is responsible for data integrity. The application is responsible for monitoring what data is stored and what is not. And when you have a file system, you actually rely on the file system to do this. So to change from using a file system to leveraging a pure object storage system is actually quite a significant change. And we've come across the need time and time again, and finally we realized this is what people need. What people really want is having all the benefits of the cloud in terms of reliability, in terms of data availability all the time, a true 24/7, in terms of data protection, being sure that it's not going to disappear, in terms of cost of ownership, knowing that cost operation is relatively cheap, and at the same time, they don't want to change their application. So it has to be compatible with file systems, with block storage, and even with HTTP, because some of the new applications actually are natively HTTP. We've devised what we called our open cloud access strategy, where different connectors will connect to the same backend storage. And what we're seeing now that we have done this is actually more and more use cases want to use multiple connectors to access the same data. A typical activity would be that for video production, a video has to be deposited by the media asset management via a file system interface, whether it's NFS or FTP, but it's a file system approach. But then the video reader, which is in the set-top box, is probably going to fetch the video using HTTP and require an object interface. So our approach is to separate the underlying storage layer, which is there to ensure the data protection and the longevity of the data that gets stored, and the access layer, which needs to speak to the application in the way that's appropriate for every application. And it may actually be multiple ways to the same application. So in a nutshell, it is being closer to our customers.